Oh, this movie was so fucking tense. What's up guys, your boy Rashad back again with another video. Today we're going to be reviewing John Krasinski's A Quiet Place. No spoilers, spoiler-free review, so if you haven't seen the movie, it doesn't matter. This is just my thoughts, what I liked, what I didn't like, without trying to spoil too much of the main plot. So if you're still here with me, let's get it. So this movie is basically about a family who have to survive living in a world where creatures who hunt using sound are thriving and killing people. That's the basic premise of this movie. It's a survival movie, it's a horror movie, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. One of the reasons I did enjoy it was because of the premise itself. Like, I saw the trailers, I thought it was interesting as fuck. I was like, that could be either a really good horror movie or a really shitty one, because the premise itself, the fact that the characters have to do everything without making a sound could be really, really boring if not done correctly. But that's why in this movie, the cast was the strongest part of it. The characters that were written, they were acted perfectly. And think about it, the fact that they can't speak, they can't use any noises to communicate or to show how they're feeling. Everything's in the emotion and in the face. So John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, even the children were phenomenal actors. I resonated with each of them in a different way. Emily Blunt and John Krasinski's chemistry on screen was amazing. They didn't even have to be in the same scene together. They weren't in many scenes together as sort of like showing intimacy and stuff like that. But you could tell when they did that these two really cared about each other. So I was sold from the beginning. From the first opening scene of the movie, I was sold. I liked the world building that they did. There was a lot of like things like articles and stuff like that that showed you exactly what was happening in the world. I enjoyed seeing how they survived, because this family literally had, I don't know, the dad was probably the best Boy Scout ever. They had plans upon contingencies, upon fail-safes, and for the most part they worked. The dad, John Krasinski, was probably one of the best father figures in a movie that I've seen recently. The family dynamic was there and it was great to see, and the acting was just on point for everyone. There wasn't anyone that dragged the movie down at all for me. I mean, the daughter did make some mistakes, but she was a teenager, so those things come, like, I allowed them. I understood that she was very frustrated, and it's very hard to not spoil the fucking movie. I beg you guys, go see this movie, please. The monsters themselves were terrifying. Every time you saw them on screen, my heart was beating. It was very, very tense because the cinema was quiet, silent. Every sound was extremely loud, and there was a lot of people jumping, and that's where the jump scares were very good. They were utilized very well. The only thing that I didn't really like about the monsters is that you couldn't really gauge how well they could hear. Sometimes they could hear like a little sound from extremely far away and they'll be attracted to it, so you couldn't even make a small sound. So that's why in the trailers you see them walking on like sand, I think it is, to obviously muffle their footsteps. And then other times they couldn't hear a small sound. Like if they could hear a smallest sound as like a twig cracking in the middle of a forest, which happens all the time, but they couldn't hear a person's heartbeat that was standing right in front of them. Do you see what I mean? It's just very hard to gauge the abilities of the creatures. Also, because of the setting and how intimate it was literally just focused on that family. You didn't really see anybody else that much, or see how the outside world was also handling the situation, if they were doing as well as this family, because you have the feeling that this family's been doing very well for a long period of time to be able to have their setup the way it was. Sometimes it did feel a little claustrophobic to me, a little too intimate, and I really wanted to see like a larger world. This could really have fit in like the Cloverfield universe sort of thing. I wish it was a little bit longer as well. Sometimes it felt like things just kept happening and happening and happening. One big gripe that I had was that the movie wasn't as gory as I wanted it. That's just a personal thing for me. In my horrors, I like to see blood, guts, people getting decapitated, stuff like that. Now, the creatures were terrifying and there were tense scenes. The music and everything like that added to that, but they didn't do as much as I wanted them to do. Anyways, this movie's up there with Split and Get Out, which I loved. So I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. Anyways, guys, that's it from me today. Let me know what you thought about this movie in the comments down below. Leave me a like, turn those post notifications on for more content. Subscribe if you're new, and as usual, I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Taylor about the fucking flex.